another topic that I wanted to kind of hit on today came from a comment that I got on YouTube. Anna Stankovic, I'm not sure if that's a real name now that I read it out loud, wrote, "What are your thoughts on self-sabotage?" Ah, the self-sabotage. We all familiar with what self-sabotage is? I think the simplest form of it is when you see people, when they get their picture taken and you make a funny face. You know, you're with your friends and you go like, or you do something because you're afraid that if you try to look cool or good and you don't, that hurts. But if you intentionally look stupid, then there's no risk. And I think that a lot of times that's why we do these self-sabotage. It's because we're afraid of failing if we try. If you never try, then you don't risk the true pain of that failure. That's my situation. That's why, you know, as I'm, you know, the number one thing on my list right now is work on the TED Talk. And work on my book, next book. But those things, as long as they're undone, as long as I'm not doing them, as long as I'm doing them, you know, half-assed, then in my mind, I can always think, well, if people don't like it, I can always think I could do better. If I fail, I can always have an excuse and go, well, yeah, but I didn't try that hard. Or you know, when you meet someone who said, oh yeah, I took the SAT, but I like partied totally hard the night before. It's like, why? Because you were afraid that if you took it and you didn't do well after trying your hardest, then you'd be afraid, you'd be embarrassed, it would be too much of a failure. I think that the way to battle self-sabotage is to process and sit with being okay with failing and maybe redefining failing. I know that for 15 years or so, write a book was my, you know, on my list of things to do. And so, but I would never do it. Because as long as I don't write it, it could always be an incredible book. When I write a book, it's going to be so amazing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be filled with insight and all this stuff. And it is until I write it, it could be the greatest thing ever. Once it's written, then it can be judged. Then it can not live up to my expectations. Then it can be a source of pain and failure. I can't fail if I never finish. And so that's why a couple years ago I finally said, screw it. I am just going to put together a bunch of essays, self-publish a book on Lulu, and just say that's my first book. Even if nobody ever reads it, at least I can say I did it. So the next time my voice in my head goes, hey, how's the book coming along? Yeah? Then I can go, how's it coming along? It's right here, bud. It's right here. Here's the freaking book. Here's the freaking book. Shut up, and why are you talking? And so, that, for me, it was a process of going, look, I'm gonna in my head say, this is my first book. I'm okay if it's not perfect. In fact, it's not. In fact, but to show you that I didn't like cross the line of that lesson and then move on. So it has been on Lulu for 2 years, and there's a thing on Lulu where once you're ready, you click a button and they'll make it available on Amazon. Once you think it's finally done. And in my head, I kept going, I'm gonna edit a couple of them. I'm gonna put some new essays in. I'm gonna take some of them out. It's not good, you know. I was afraid again to if I say it's done, then people go, oh, this is finished. You're done. You're done. Okay? It sucks. But until I say it's done, I could always say, yeah, I'm still working on it. So I think that self-sabotage it's going to the end and being okay with the failure. It's going to the photograph and going, I'm going to look how I look. It's going to that judgment and saying, wow, what relationship with a person or thing would judge me in that way, and why would I care so much about them that I would let it stop me from going this direction, down this road that I want? My experience exceptionally easier said than done. I'm still working on it. I'm still always working on it. I can't believe how much time I'm procrastinating doing with my TED Talk stuff. And almost every big thing that's important to me, it's like I know the more I work on it, the less excuses I have, the less I can say to myself, well, I could do better. The harder I try, the more risk there is of feeling like a failure. And so for me, it often comes back to that same thing of get present, have integrity, align with love. And the 4 agreements, always do your best. And that changes in every moment. But you give the best you can in that moment. And sometimes that moment is not that much. That's okay. What did Alfred tell Batman? Master, why do we fall? So we can get back up. Plato said something like that too, so, Batman is just what I remember. And the truth is if you read autobiographies of inspiring people, whatever the thing is that you care about, maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to be an inventor, or you want to be an athlete, or you want to be whatever it is that is your like, wow, that is someone that I admire. They were okay with failure. Success is the process of failing repeatedly. Nobody that is awesome gets so by just being afraid of finishing something or trying something or risking something. Again, so much easier said than done. But it's a tough thing where in our culture right now, we're so winner-based that we almost are kind of training people to be failure phobic. I think a really healthy thing to do in schools and as a socializing and thing for kids is making sure that they fail a lot. I remember a writing class where the assignment was to get a rejection letter. The teacher wanted us to go, look, every good writer has a stack of rejection letters. So let's get our first one. Submit something to a magazine, get that incredibly cold, painful letter that says, we don't accept submissions, or we read this and this is not right for us, or I can't believe you had the gall. And that's sometimes the fear too, is like you think that somebody would like go, oh my gosh, you think that is worth... The fear of the reaction is always worse. The fear of the judgment. The fear of that woman saying, no way, I'm not going to dance with you. That's never happened to me. But I have thought that might happen 1,000 times that I stayed in the corner and didn't dance. So it's the learning to fail. Feeling pride in the failures, feeling pride in the bruises, and knowing that a failure is an accomplishment. A failure is a lesson. And we're not here to win, we're here to learn. Hopefully that helps, Anna. I hope that your next picture is one with an honest, sincere smile.